So welcome everyone today. I've managed to track down Chris Howell, who runs a very special and unique business teaching people mainly in the carpet cleaning industry how to fix colour problems in carpets, or completely all the way right up to dyeing the carpet and changing its colour. So I'd like to welcome you to the call today. Chris Howell, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So what I've done, Chris, I've just got a couple of questions that I've noted down here I'd like to ask you. Because in the carpet cleaning industry, and I know because I was a carpet cleaner for many years, including running my own business for 7 of those years, it's a hard slog. It's physical work, and especially in the summertime here in Australia, it can become very difficult and challenging. So what you've got is a way to make extra money, sometimes what I can see a lot more money, without that physical work or as an add-on service. So Chris, if you wouldn't mind, just tell us a little bit about, how did you get started with dyeing the colour of carpets and fixing bleach spots and things like that? And where are you guys today?
Well, it's a pretty interesting story how I got started. I got started because I brought a puppy home for my daughter as a surprise back in 1999, and this puppy was not house trained. And the puppy promptly did some dyeing of her own on brand new carpet in a house that we had just purchased. And I tried to fix it myself. I wasn't able to fix it. I brought in a couple of different carpet cleaning companies who charged me a fortune. They weren't able to fix it. Everybody basically was just telling me, there's nothing you can do. You're going to have to replace the carpet. And I said, well, is it possible to dye it? They're like, no, there used to be some companies that did it, but they were never really able to match the colors very well. And when the carpet was cleaned, all of the color would come back out again. So I began doing some research, and I found a company that claimed that they provided carpet dyeing services, and I also saw that they offered franchises. So I contacted the company and I said, there is nobody in my area that offers this service. Now, I live just outside of Washington, D.C., so I'm in a very developed area. So I made an appointment with this company. They came and did a demonstration. Not a very good demonstration, but I could see the potential. So I signed on the dotted line, opened a franchise in the year 2000, and 20 years later, we're still going. We are now recognized as being the world's leading experts for this, and we teach classes all over the country, around America, and also around the world, and share the knowledge and the passion.
Awesome. That's tremendous. So what do you think has been one of the major contributors to you guys becoming pretty much the #1 people? Because there's a couple of people started up doing this now, I've seen. I even saw in one of the carpet cleaning forums, or Facebook groups, I should say, where they were saying that the other particular company, I won't name them just out of respect, their colours didn't last too long. A couple of months down the track, the customers complaining. I'm assuming at this point that maybe you've got some higher quality dyes and things. Tell us now, what is it exactly that sort of gets you guys to be #1 in this industry?
Well, great question. There's several things that enabled us to achieve that position. I'll start that by saying that when I started the business back in the year 2000, I made the decision that I was going to focus on one thing and one thing only, and that was carpet dyeing. We were not going to do any carpet cleaning, no tile and grout, no mattress cleaning, the other typical services that many carpet cleaners offer, just carpet dyeing. In fact, we didn't even do any rug dyeing at that time. So by choosing to focus on one thing, that enabled us to become specialists. As far as what enabled us to be able to become the leader in the industry is we've made a lot of developments within the industry. One of which that you just alluded to is the dyes that we're using. We're using liquid dyes. The biggest difference between liquid dyes and powdered dyes is that liquid dyes are in solution, whereas powdered dyes are in suspension. They don't fully dissolve. So if you have ever felt carpet that was dyed using powdered dyes, it feels very crunchy and crusty and powdery because there's a lot of powder residues in the carpet. The liquid dyes also tend to be very, very color fast. I have a video that's had thousands of views on YouTube where I take a piece of carpet and I dye it and I immediately wash it under hot soapy water, and then I wipe it on a white shirt that I'm wearing, and there's no color transfer whatsoever. So that's been big. And we do, by the way, we have distributors for our dyes, of course, here in America, and we have distributors set up in Australia and also in the UK so that people don't have the high shipping costs. But we've also made a number of other developments which have helped us to secure our position in the industry. Probably the biggest one is our ColorQ app. What the ColorQ app is, it's an app for smartphones that probably a little hard to see it on the screen here, but it's an app for smartphones or tablet devices. And what the ColorQ app does is by simply taking a photo of the carpet, the ColorQ app will automatically measure all of the colors for you, and it then shows you exactly which colors you need to use in the precise amounts to bring the bleached area back to a perfect color match. It does all of that by simply taking a photo of the carpet. Additionally, we have developed some specialized equipment that we use for restoring very intricately patterned Persian and Oriental rugs. The airbrush system makes it very quick and easy. It gives you a large supply of dye that's maintained at the proper temperature so that we can complete some incredibly intricate color restorations on Persian rugs in a short period of time. A couple of other things. We've also developed a tool that's called the dye trolley. The dye trolley, it's about 1 meter wide. And what it does is it allows us to complete large commercial jobs, such as a church or an office building, where they want the entire carpet either restored back to its original color or changed to a completely new color. It reduces the amount of time that's required by about 75%. So a large building that might normally take 8 to 10 hours, we can complete it in maybe an hour or two. So we've developed a lot of technology and a lot of equipment that didn't exist before, which has enabled people to achieve results that nobody else is able to achieve.
Excuse me. So I remember it's like when the tile cleaning started coming out into the carpet cleaning industry, was kind of about the time when I was leaving, to be honest. And it kind of took off really well. But it's not, or what it is from what I've learned, is it's a really specialised tool. People can cause a lot of damage to tiles. Is it the same sort of thing with carpet dyeing? You know, if they don't follow a certain procedure or do their job right, they can actually damage your carpet or blotch it up where it's lighter or darker in some areas?
You know, that great question. That was one of the problems that a lot of people were having back in the early days. I've had heaps of people say to me, oh, I used to do some carpet dyeing back in the 80s. And I always say, well, why did you stop? And usually they're like, ugh, because they were achieving results where the carpet would turn out very splotchy, or they try to dye it and the color is coming back out again. And they were not able to consistently achieve good results or even predictable results. So with the development of the dyes that we're using and the methods that we're teaching, I would say we've pretty much eliminated the instances where the carpet just turns out looking horrible. I'm not going to say that every carpet is going to turn out looking brand new, but we do have a very, very high success rate and a lot of happy customers out there.
Perfect. I do have a friend many years ago, Wayne from Textile Cleaning down in Sydney, and he was probably one of the first people around that used to do that, and he stopped for that very reason, just problems with blotchy areas and complaints. So it's like anything, I guess, things evolve and get better. One of the questions I wanted to ask you was, sorry, go on, please.
I had one more thing to add to that. That another reason a lot of people got out of it is a lot of the carpets that are being made now are being made of materials that traditionally could not be dyed, such as polyester, polypropylene, different types of like bamboo silk. We are the only company. We have dyes that will successfully dye polyester, polypropylene, and solution-dyed nylon carpets. So that's also something that has set us apart from other dye companies, that we're able to do the dyeing on materials that again, traditionally were not able to be dyed.
That's a pretty big one, I'd have to say. It's like, I mean, I still remember when I was cleaning, I'd get into a customer's home and they might have a polypropylene carpet, or they might have something, and the carpet cleaners in there before didn't know they used the wrong something on the carpet, and I've had to rinse it all out because they just didn't know what carpet type it was. So, knowing the carpet is in this field, I'd have to say specifically, be very important. So what types of businesses can use it? Is it just carpet cleaners that would use your service?
It's primarily carpet cleaners who take our training. They want to add color repair as an add-on service. A lot of rug washing companies as well, so they can perform color repairs on rugs that they get in. Having said that, we've trained a lot of people, retired school teachers, firefighters. I've trained at least one lawyer, some nurses, a lot of housewives, stay-at-home moms. But yeah, primarily it's carpet cleaners that are interested in adding this to their services for a couple of reasons. One, as you mentioned earlier, it's far less physical work than carpet cleaning. Carpet cleaners, typically they're carrying hoses, moving furniture, and they're trudging through, very hot, miserable weather, such as what you have in the land down under, or what we have here, sub-zero temperatures that also are not very fun to work in. So by providing them with a skill that they can, where they're not having to go through all of that, and a lot of them, for example, in the cold winter months, people will they'll market their rug color restoration services. So when the cold months roll around, they're able to just work on rugs in their nice warm workshop without having to drive through the snow and the slush and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, it's I would definitely say that the biggest appeal for this service is going to be carpet cleaning companies. Interestingly, we've had a lot of commercial janitorial company owners that have also taken our courses, because they contacted us and they said, first of all, we messed up a carpet that we're liable for having to replace. So we would like to be able to fix our own problems that we created, and then we would like to be able to offer the services to make money at it and fix other people's problems.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
What would you say would be one or two core problems that people face in this industry? I mean, you just mentioned something there. People have messed up something, they want to fix it. Apart from that, what else would sort of pop up from time to time?
I would say the single biggest problem that people face who want to get into this business or this industry is they don't carve out time to practice. They have their hands in so many different pies trying to do so many different things that they never really become a specialist at any of them. And if you want to become good at anything, you have to practice. So taking our course, we give people all of the skills that they need to be able to be successful with this. We have a private Facebook group that's called the Dye Lot, where all of our trainees receive ongoing help and support, literally 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, for absolutely anything that they need help with. We also permit all of our trainees to take free refresher courses as many times as they wish. We permit people to bring their spouse along free of charge. It's our way of promoting family values. But again, I think the single biggest problem is that people might take the course just thinking that it's going to be easy money, but it does require practice.
Makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. Same with anything, a little bit of practice, especially I know some of the carpet cleaners, one of their biggest challenges is converting people over phones to pay their prices. And I say, here's a script, just practice it, but a lot of people just don't. Anyway, can you tell us?
Well, we find this particular service is actually, it's a very, very easy sell, because you have somebody that's looking, just as an example, if they have a very large home and they're looking at spending $10,000 to replace all of the carpet in that home, we tell them we can completely re-dye the carpet, make it look spectacular for about 80% less than the cost of replacing it. So instead of spending $10,000, we can redo that home for $2,000. That's what drives our business. Another example of that, back to commercial janitorial companies, a very, very typical call that we'll get is from a commercial janitorial company. And they'll say, our cleaners dripped bleach or cleaning chemicals on a carpet at a commercial facility that they were cleaning, and they created a bleach drip trail that goes all the way through the building. Well, they might be looking at a liability of $20, $30, even $40,000 to replace all of that carpet. So we tell them we can fix all of the spots for you. It's going to be $4,000. Well, $4,000 compared to $20,000, it's a no-brainer. Well, these companies typically turn it over to their insurance companies as a claim. And insurance is happy to pay because it eliminates the need of them having to replace the carpet. So we'll go in, fix all of the spots for them, charge them $4,000. It takes us about an hour, and our material cost is about 50 cents. This is what drives our business.
Wow, that's tremendous. Perfect business model almost.
Yeah, because again, we're eliminating the need of having to replace the carpet. So as long as we are the most cost-effective option, it's really an easy sell.
On that note, can you tell us about perhaps one or two clients that you've had that have used what you've taught and really taken it on to success? Where did they start? Where were they then? And where are they now?
Well, we've had a lot of our trainees, a lot that have become enormously successful with this. And what's interesting, though the majority of them take the class because they want to have this as an add-on service, we've had a lot of people that have transitioned completely out of the cleaning business altogether and have made color repair the sole focus of their business.
Wow.
We've had a lot of people that have earned the entire cost of their course back with their very first job. It also opens up a lot of very interesting, very lucrative opportunities. For example, we've been taking care of the carpets and the rugs in the White House since 2002, and it was our color repair services that actually got us established there. Same thing, I've been flown overseas to work in royal palaces, done work for celebrities, because they couldn't find anybody else who could do the color repair services for them. So it really does open up a lot of exciting opportunities that cleaners may not have access to. And again, far more lucrative financially than cleaning. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we've got some really nice success stories. I have one individual who's in Canada that still have his message saved on my phone. He sent me a message letting me know that he says, we just passed that $1 million in income from dye services alone. That was in his first year of operation.
That's tremendous. Wow. And that's in US dollars for those people listening to this in Australia?
I think that was in Canadian dollars, but it's still a pretty good chunk of change.
Absolutely, in any dollar.
That's right.
So if you could give a little bit of advice to someone starting out, or even maybe thinking about getting involved in this, what would that be?
My first piece of advice would be to take a look at do your due diligence. Take a look at how many other people or companies are there in your area that are offering this service. And at the same time, let's say it's a carpet cleaner. Do a little bit of research. How many other cleaners are there in your area? And there's bound to be a lot of them, because if you're doing the same thing that so many other companies or individuals around you are doing, then you're always going to be competing with them for the work. And typically, the only way you're going to get that work is if you offer the cheapest prices. Well, if you're cheapening your prices, First of all, you're cutting into your own profits. And secondly, anytime you reduce your prices, you're basically just sending your customer a message that lets them know that you're not worth paying full price for. So my advice would be do a little bit of research, find out, is this something that would be lucrative that others in your area are not doing? And if the answer is yes, this is, this would be a niche opportunity that nobody else in my area is doing. What that means is that when people need this service, they're going to come to you because they have nowhere else to go to. Typically, if a carpet cleaner approaches a customer, gives them a price for the job, first thing the customer is going to do is, well, let me see if I can find it cheaper somewhere else. And they probably will be able to. When it comes to color repair, they're not going to have anywhere else to go to. So they're either going to pay your price or they're going to pay to have to replace all of their carpet.
Very good point, actually. Very good. Tell me something, on a personal level, was there ever a time, especially probably when you were starting out, where there was some uncertainty and you weren't sure really how far this was going to go? And how did you combat any uncertainty at that time?
Well, as I mentioned, I started out with the franchise back in the year 2000, and the term of the franchise was 5 years. And I would say, yes, for those first 5 years, I didn't know if we were going to make it because the support that we received was not very good. There also were not a lot of systems in place. A lot of the equipment that was needed didn't exist, which was why we developed things like the dyes that we're using, the ColorQ app, which was a huge need because traditionally the process of learning to match colors was it was extremely difficult. And I'll go so far as to say that every other dye class or color repair class that's out there is still trying to teach color matching the old-fashioned way by using a plastic color wheel. It's possible to learn that way. That's how I learned, but it's very difficult. So yeah, the early years were very challenging. I would go so far as to say the first 10 years were extremely challenging. And I recently read an article in a newspaper here in America that said 80% of new businesses failed in the first 18 months. 80%. So what we've done is we've created a system that people can follow, basically learned that we developed as a result of all of our own trial and error, the mistakes and the frustrations that we dealt with, developing specific tools and technology to help avoid these problems. And so we're basically offering somebody a package that they can follow and systems that they can follow to ensure their success. It's not a franchise because we're not selling franchises. There are no membership fees. People simply pay to take our training course and then they receive ongoing help and support to guarantee their success. But yeah, the early years of trying to get this started, because it was such a small industry, I really had nowhere to turn to get help and support. There was no dye lot. There really was no expert. The only source I had to turn to was the franchise, which again, the support that they offered was not very good. Not to mention that by the time my franchise contract had expired at the 5-year mark, the franchise had completely fallen apart. So I was basically on my own. I still loved what I did, but I definitely had to develop some tools, some technology, and some systems that would enable us not only to continue ourselves, but make it possible for others to be able to learn to do this as well.
Yeah, perfect. So tell me something. What's your favorite thing about what you do? What do you love most about it?
Boy, where to start? I would say probably the thing that I really enjoy the most is seeing the success of people that we've trained. People that were struggling, people that weren't making it, and seeing them become financially successful and hearing their testimonies about how much they love what they do. Hearing them say, that they can't wait to go into work instead of having it be something that they're dreading. I also never get tired of the reactions from our customers. They have a carpet that they don't want to have to replace it, and we make that carpet look absolutely spectacular for a fraction of the cost of replacement, and the reaction from customers is just fantastic. Maybe even more than that is when people have treasured rugs that may be heirloom rugs or rugs that they inherited. And when we restore those rugs, bring them back to life, or salvage a rug that was severely color damaged, the reaction and the gratitude from the customers is just priceless.
Wow. It's kind of like going into somebody's place. I'm sort of remembering back in the day when I was cleaning carpets, and you had something really just completely rubbished, and you brought it up, looks like brand new, and they looked at it and I was, wow, it's a nice thing to have when the customer turns around and says that. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that makes what we do unique, something that cleaners are not able to do, is somebody may have a carpet or a rug or whatever, and they've had it cleaned, and some of the problems are still visible. In other words, that carpet had severe stains. The carpet is cleaned, but the stains are still visible. Well, now they have clean stains. So what we can do is we can actually bleach those stains out and then re-dye those areas and bring them back to a perfect color match. So we're able to do things that, again, that other companies basically can only dream of. Or somebody has a carpet that's severely sun faded, or a rug that means a lot to them that's faded from the sun. And, you know, cleaning, of course, is not gonna fix that. So we can go in and restore that carpet or restore that rug, being able to achieve results that nobody else can do. And that's very gratifying.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be, for sure. You're bringing it all back to me now, some of the situations I've been in the past. Very much. Excuse me, I keep looking over here, so I've got my questions over here. Was there some time, you know, give me an example of something that's happened that has surprised you a lot along the way? So, you know, from the time you started to now, what surprised you most in the process of going? It might have been something from a client or something that's happened with you guys, something good that's happened that's really made a difference to the dye color industry that you're in.
Yeah, so several things come to mind. One I mentioned earlier is the travel opportunities that this has opened up for us, being able to travel all over the country, as well as all over the world, not only for teaching, but to be able to provide our color repair services. I think that my most recent trip, I live on the East Coast of America, and I had a company on Vancouver Island, Canada, which is on Canada's western coast, and they couldn't find anybody in all of Canada that could repair some bleached, a very high grade of carpet in their facility. So they paid to fly me all the way across the country, and flew me over there, provided me with a car to use while I was there, provided me with all of my lodging, and paid us very handsomely. So the travel opportunities have been fantastic. What comes to mind, I was flown over to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, which is in the United Arab Emirates. And in Abu Dhabi, I worked in the Royal Emirates Palace, did a job for the royal ruling family. It was on a $10 million rug that was made of wool and silk with gold threads running through it. Yeah, so the travel opportunities have just been fantastic. Opportunities to do work for and meet a lot of celebrities has been pretty cool as well. And then, yeah, the other thing is, and again, going back to seeing the transformation that this has made in the lives of so many people that were really struggling. They were struggling in the cleaning industry, competing against so many other people. A lot of these people basically took all of the savings that they had, crossed their fingers, and signed up for our course. And to see them become successful and very, very, very successful financially has been very rewarding and gratifying as well.
Look, Chris, on that note, let me ask you, somebody's listening to this here today, because we've kind of got to the end of my questions, and they're thinking, you know, this sounds like something I'd be interested in. I'd like to learn a little bit more. What's your website? How do people reach out to you?
Our website is Dye Training. That would be DYE, dyetraining.com. So we have a couple of options available right now because of the coronavirus. We are offering our classes online. It's a one-day class where they receive the ColorQ app. They receive a starter kit, which is a variety of bleached color samples. So it's actually a hands-on training that we do online. And by the end of that class, they are fully prepared to begin offering color repair services, spot dyeing for fixing bleach spots. So that class, they can sign up for that on our website, again, dyetraining.com. And then we also have the option of a full 3-day training. And the full 3-day training includes learning how to use the ColorQ app. By the way, the ColorQ app is available exclusively to our trainees. Some of your viewers might be looking right now in the App Store for it. They're not going to find it.
Not there.
We make it available exclusively to our trainees because it really does give them a tremendous advantage over anyone else in the industry. So anyway, back to the 3-day training. That includes learning how to use the ColorQ app, learning how to do spot dyeing using the ColorQ app. We teach them how to do full room dyeing for changing an entire carpet to a new color. We teach them how to create custom colors for interior decorators and designers. This is kind of a very specialized area of service. For example, a decorator might say, my client has a carpet and we want that carpet to perfectly match the artwork that's on the walls. Well, we teach how to create that color formula to achieve exact color matching with custom colors. And that's something we're charging $12 US a square foot. And people in Australia are like, what's a square foot? Well, a square foot is, I don't know how many square meters that is. It's about this big. $12 a square foot. To put it in comparison, most carpet cleaners are charging around 40 cents per square foot. So in the full 3-day training, we also have a very unique service that's called a color clean. What a color clean is, that's a process that is going to clean and restore the carpet color in one step. That's a process that we've been using in the White House since 2002. Also in our 3-day training, we teach how to restore Persian and Oriental rugs by airbrushing. And then we have a very thorough marketing segment as well to teach how to market, sell, and promote the services, because that's important. If you have a service or a product and you don't know how to market it and promote it, it's not going to help you.
Yeah, marketing has to be one of the most important things once you've got a system or a service to provide. And it is something that's missed completely in a lot of courses. So totally with you on that. Look, I'd like to say thank you for joining us today. I've kind of pretty much hit the end of where we're going. It's just getting dark behind you there now. I'll post that website up in this video, and if they watch on YouTube, it'll be in the description, or if you're watching this on a website somewhere, the link will be somewhere. So look, thank you very much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. And yeah, Chris Howell, everyone, thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thanks so much for the invitation. It's been fantastic, and looking forward to being able to share the exciting art of carpet dyeing with people who watch this.